Welcome to Demolition Success Secrets, the podcast that's changing the game for demolition businesses everywhere. Ever wondered how a wrecking ball wielding industry can leverage digital marketing to dominate their market? Well, we've got the blueprints, strategies, expert guests, and more to show you how. Stay tuned, because we're about to blast through the barriers of your business.
Cool. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. We have an awesome guest today, an old friend, actually, that was a referral at first. His name is Jonathan. He is out of Atlanta. Welcome, Jonathan. How's your day going?
Hey, how's it going, Chayton? It's good to see you again. Day's going well. Can't complain. It's a little cold here in Georgia. That we're getting the cold snap going, so just trying to, get through every day and just enjoying working on, entrepreneurship, marketing, everything that comes with it. So I'm excited to just exchange ideas and learn and
just dig on in. Well, I guess to give the audience some background, it was funny. I used to help a client back in the day, still a good friend. He had, obviously the market's a little bit choppy, a very, very big real estate holding, essentially multifamily, single family, flipping, all kinds of different things, as well as holding properties, apartment complexes, single family homes. And he had a really awesome concept. I keep saying he's a genius. He has been, and he still is, where he said, hey, we should internalize everything where we can, such as construction, such as property management, real estate, brokerage for lending, legal for real estate, all kinds of stuff. Really an incredible, very wise guy. And there was someone who led their realty section, a woman named Christina, and I was kind of heading up, helping their marketing at large. And I told her, hey, we have a difficulty. I'm capable of video, but my job is not to do video. And I'm certainly not to the level that Jonathan is, be it with drones, be it with, fixed footage, multi-camera type footage, interview style. I'm good, but that's not my whole role here. So Jonathan was referred to Christina to me, and then we got him in at the company, and he's really sharp on branding. He's really sharp on drone video, again, fixed video, multi-cam shoots, all that fun stuff. And he's a digital guru. So yeah, I think what we're going to do here, guys, for you is kind of get some of his wisdoms in the demolition world. We'll touch on things like websites. We'll touch on things like video, be it drones, be it interview styles, anything like that. Logos, the world goes on about those sorts of things. So Jonathan, we met at a real estate type of company, and that was building of things. And ironically, the podcast is for tearing shit down. Moral of the story, we met where stuff was getting built up, and now we're talking about stuff getting torn down. So maybe some of the branding wisdom. Let's talk about video. How important is that for a demolition company?
Well, I think it definitely, in any space, video is a medium that is and has been crucial in terms of the evolution of the digital ecosystem. With having video on your website, having video distributed through your social media channels. People will read some things, bits and pieces, but if they can see what you do, if they can see how you do it behind the scenes, they see the people who, work with you, who you are, personalizes everything. I mean, there's so many great qualities about the video dynamic being a part of your marketing. And I think especially for demolition, you just get a real flavor of what it is you do, and you get to show off the big machines. You get to show the before and afters. You get to show the time lapse of, it was this structure and now it's rubble and now it's cleared out and, ready to be the next thing. So yeah, it helps tell a story. It helps engagement, connecting with the audience, everything like that.
Yeah. And I would say too, you make the unsexy sexy. The company that we met through, there were cultural differences and kind of variances of leadership where it's like, you want us to do what? Like, that's the direction we're going? Like, that sucks. That's terrible. And then when you came in, it made my world much easier, because it was like, hey, this stuff can look good. This can be exciting. This doesn't have to be some stale, ugly background interview. This doesn't have to be, oh, it's just a plot of land. Like, you would get that drone up there. Your team would be able to do great work to really spice things up. And I was really impressed. I know the leadership team was impressed. So that was something really cool for you. And in the world of demolition, some people, they'll think of Las Vegas. I know that when I first started in roughly 2019, kind of dialing down into demolition as a focus of business, albeit over the last few quarters, we've really, really done the full shift for the marketing agency of, this is what we do, this is who we do it for. I always used to think of, Vegas or a stadium, you're not necessarily seeing a skyscraper come down all the time, but I was going to make a joke in bad taste there, but yeah, you're not usually used to seeing that kind of stuff. Excuse me, that's more of the stuff that you envision. What you're not used to thinking through is coming down, or let's say an old apartment or an apartment that had a fire, a warehouse, something like that coming down. And even when that's kind of presented to you as, hey, there's these alternatives to just the big, massive things getting taken down, you go, well, that's cool, I guess, kind of, sort of. But a guy like you, what are some of the things that you would utilize, like editing, drone? How do you do the magic that makes stuff more appealing than what most people would imagine it would be?
Yeah, I think the advent and then the accessibility of and capability of drones has been phenomenal and really kind of revolutionary across a lot of industries, especially anything in the real estate, construction, or in your case, demolition. These used to be hyper expensive, inaccessible devices that, now have capabilities, whether it's the camera quality, the tracking, the GPS capabilities. I mean, it's really off the charts now, what these, fairly inexpensive drones are capable of now. But the value that they can add, especially in this space. So that, I would say, that's a major component.
Okay.
You're getting views that you just otherwise would never be able to before, unless you had a helicopter or a plane or a blimp or something. Now you can, get a vantage point that you never would be able to previously. Also, the editing, and it really depends on the client. It depends on the audience. Do you want something flashy with a lot of cool edits and, upbeat music, or do you want to show, are you trying to tell a story of your project? Are you trying to show the culture of your company? Are you trying to, and build that transparency, that connection with your audience, or just show off your work? Just to be able to say, hey, this is what we do. We're proud of it. And, be able to use that as a marketing tool for them to acquire new clients. And people like the sizzle. You got to have the steak in your business. You got to have the real meat to it. But when you can add the sizzle, people are drawn to that, and they want to be a part of it. They want to,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And it can be fun. Like, these things, you have an eye, and your team has a vision to make something that it seems kind of ordinary, become fascinating. It could be just a basic thing. Like I've seen your footage of Atlanta and the skyline and stuff, and it's like, well, I'm used to seeing that pretty regularly. It's nice. It's cool. I'm usually seeing it when I'm stuck in traffic, but the way that you guys do it, the angles, the audio, you know, like music and things that you put behind it, the lighting that you use, the effects that you use, the transitions, pretty incredible. So I'm thinking for a demolition company, there's a few ways of attack. Like let's say, you know, and obviously guys, please reach out to Jonathan. We'll give you his more detailed info a little bit later in the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But let's say a demolition company came to you, said, hey, Jonathan, what can you do for us? Let's touch on a few of those things. One of them could be creative direction, of course. Let's say a company that's not in your backyard. Let's say they're in California. Big company, they do $50 million a year, and they say, Jonathan, you're a genius. I've seen your other work. We want that, you know, to be able to be happening, you know, for our business. I know you're all the way in Georgia. Is there a number of things that you would check the boxes off, you know, redoing their website, doing things on social media? Maybe you guys would hire a videographer, or you would have to fly out there. Just tell me what that looks like. $50 million demo company in California.
Yeah, I think it would either be going out there, which probably is not the most practical and efficient way. So I think vetting local videographers and drone specialists that are already there, and you know, kind of vetting their quality of work and keeping that quality assurance to give them the creative direction based on what the client needs, based on, you know, I think it starts also with the client, trying to get an understanding of what their vision is, what's the why behind what they're trying to accomplish, what's the story that they're trying to tell, who are the people who is this targeted towards? Is it investment groups? Is it real estate developers? Is it, you know, there's a myriad of ways to go about it. So I think just really getting a firm understanding of their business, their leadership, and their vision, and then distilling that into, okay, how can I execute that? How can we apply our creative vision for that? So yeah, in this case, in this scenario, I'd find a very capable group local to them to get the raw footage and coordinate, you know, when a demolition team is going to be on site, what project they want to show off, and, you know, coordinate all of that. Then get the raw footage and, you know, make the magic in post. So editing, adding the music, and then depending on what their need is, if they want branding, website, logo design, that sort of thing, that all can come into play also. And they all play off of each other. And as you know, there's so many factors that go into the digital marketing sphere in terms of, you know, SEO is a recipe of 100 different things, including branding, including content, and optimization. All those are pieces that kind of make the whole pie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, you want to make a pizza. Well, what toppings do you want, right? What's your palate? Because even while you're talking through, in certain instances, it's for employment. It could be, hey, we want more demolition deals, or we want more employees, or we simply want our employees to feel more inspired when they're out in the field, to be like, hey, you know, it's a video, or it's a series of videos, or it's a whole online presence, but like, we're proud to be here. We're modern. A big thing that we'll come to see is there's clients, to be very transparent, they might have some videos, they might have a drone, they might have an interview here and there, but their website may be non-existent, may not look like it's from this decade or this century.
Right.
Some of it's really abysmal. You obviously have an eye with that. Some of them have no social media, and to some extent, that's kind of acceptable in their world. But it's not acceptable to not be the best that you could be, in my opinion. I mean, unless you have so many opportunities that you guys can't even sleep at night because you just have to work 24/7. And frankly, you're a business, you should find ways to optimize that that's not the case. In theory, if you do really good work, you should want to be able to help as many people as possible while happening to make a profit doing so.
Right.
You should want to build a bigger team and be able to put more food on the table for those people that work so hard for you. So that's really important. Do you have any kind of...
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I like what you said about, especially in this world, a lot of times it can be for employment or current employees. Like you said, I've been working with a construction company and put together a year-end video for them. And a lot of the videos I do for them is just so that their team, like you said, can feel inspired and go, hey, we worked on this. We built this house or this development. And, oh yeah, I remember all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. And and there's the finished product, and it's in this modern video and it looks sexy and it has our branding, and that really helps kind of that internal culture and keeps people wanting to work harder and get better and sets that standard of excellence, like you said.
Well, and it's cool too, because the type of clients that we attract and work with, similar to yours, is, they're kind of past the elementary phase. So for us, we're very big into lead generation, and believe it or not, some of the biggest companies out there need it. Some of them, they may not think they need it, and then they go through a tough patch. It could be a tough quarter, it could be a tough year, what have you, and then they go, man, we thought that we were doing so well. And then, the tide went out and we're here stuck with our bathing suit off. We're getting exposed, so to speak. So I think with what you're saying, it is really valuable, the branding. And I give you, maybe a few years ago, I would have looked at branding and been like, whatever. But I was focused on maybe working with people who were needy, who they were kind of like desperate, like, we need deals, we need opportunities, we need money coming through. You seem to work well with everyone. However, it's a blessing that you can help people who money has to be a priority, but at the same time, they look at things more holistically than, frankly, certain clients I used to serve back in the day, where it was just money, 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 ROI, ROI, ROI. Now, these days, we're working with people who are like, yeah, we're growing. We're like, we need to grow. That's going to happen. But we also, to satiate that growth, we need to have stuff like what you do that my team does not do, to keep our team motivated, happy, feeling like it's a family, feeling like we have a true mission, and then to attract new people to that family. And the video is huge. What about websites? Do you have any good insights there? Again, thinking through for a demolition company or construction in that vein, what's important from a branding perspective on a website, or a marketing perspective on a website?
Sure. I think the website is the digital handshake, the first impression that your company makes when anyone goes to look it up, when anyone wants to find it online. That's the first impression. So they're going to see the logo, they're going to see the colors, they're going to see the layout, they're going to see, from a user experience standpoint, it's easy to navigate, it's sleek, all these different things. And a bad website, or an out-of-date website, or a hard-to-use one, it just doesn't make a good impression a lot of times. So for investors, looking at your company or potential clients, a lot of different things, you want to, like you said, be as optimized, be excellent in all ways that you can possibly be. And you want the quality of your work and what you stand by and the things that you're good at to be expressed online. And you don't want anyone to get the idea that you're a bucket shop, or, you know, you can't, you're out of date, you're out of touch, you know, we'll go to the next person because I'm more impressed with what I saw at first. You know, their handshake was stronger. They looked me in the eye. They were wearing a better outfit, you know, that kind of thing.
Right. No, and that is valuable because, to be honest, a lot of demolition companies, like, it's word of mouth. You know, the old school thing can work in certain instances because it's like, hey, all right, they at least have a website, you know, and in certain cases, people still get plenty of jobs with no website. But like you're saying, it's very interesting because the first impression counts. For us being very ad centric, lead gen centric, you know, I will tell you all day long, having a site that functions, that, you know, if you have copyright, it's 2024 now, try to have that at the bottom. If you have, you know, copyright 1998, it's like, come on, man. If you have dead links, if your colors, I've seen some of these sites, they're just ugly, like a lot of black going on, a lot of gold going on, like heavy. You're like, man, that just looks, I want to leave the site before I could call you because my eyes hurt.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, where you and your team do a very good justice, I would say, to making it easy on the eyes for the first time seeing it. You know, we do retargeting ads as well. So let's say they don't click through or call or, you know, opt in on a form. We're going to follow you on the internet for the next few months. And it's like a roofer going and knocking on a door once and saying, hey, your shingles are falling off. Well, what's better is if that roofer comes back next time and says, hey, you know, legitimately, we're working on the house next to you. They had the same issue and I got the insurance to pay for that. I'm back again. We'll be here for the next 2 days. If you want me to finally come and take a look, I'm glad to. So for you in that instance, it's being able to show that the website, the first go around, looked good. For whatever reason, the person didn't take the action that we intended. But maybe because we're now following with good looking advertising throughout the internet, leading to a good looking website that has multimedia, you know, they may now be more apt to use that ad when they click through to take an action. Huge thing, something I missed for many years. I was just Mr. Lead Gen, Mr. Advertising, which is great. It has its place, but the branding aspect is key. And it's something that we lean on people like you to help us, like, in conjunction, to make sure that the stuff that we're doing is as impactful as possible. It's kind of like looking at, like, abatement or asbestos comes up a lot in the industry. Something that I've had to learn over the years is you go, all right, there's like asbestos in the world, sure. But in certain cases, in many cases, you have to get testing before you can even knock something down. You know, especially depending on when it was built. Typically, you're not knocking something down that's brand new that doesn't have asbestos. It's from, you know, the 70s, the 80s, etc. So like that tandem partnership of sorts is what I'm saying is, you know, you're great with aesthetics, branding, you know, that marketing. And we're really, really good on the aspect of the lead gen and being able to couple that together in one company, or in our instance, multiple companies, is huge. Demolition, they happen to do that mainly with asbestos or abatement, those sorts of things. Sometimes they could be internal of one, but many times you got them working, you know, separately, but they're both so valuable. So yeah, any other fun little insights from your world that you want to apply to the demo space or the construction in general?
Yeah, well, I think you brought up a good point of, in that space, I'm sure a lot of it is word of mouth, referrals. And I think it's good to have a blend of both. You want, like I was saying earlier, to have what's represented digitally to reflect your company and your work and what you do. And especially now, as we're more interconnected than ever, you know, the example or the scenario you brought up earlier of someone from California contacts me in Atlanta, we're not calling on the phone probably, or maybe we met at a conference or something, but with leads and with potential clients coming from all over the country, all over the hemisphere, whatever the case may be, that digital home, your website becomes more and more important. And then with the work, that you're able to specialize in, among many things, is to, drive those leads, deploy all sorts of tactics and the things that you're genius at to close, to get the sale, to get the conversion, return on investment. But just having a blend of both, of doing, the cold calling, the referrals, but also you might be missing an opportunity because someone in Detroit somehow looked you up and you're in Idaho and you have a demolition company, and what they see, through the branding, the website, it's all in conjunction now that we're more interconnected, and kind of pairing both in that world.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, it was kind of fun that you mentioned earlier, like, you do really good work out in the field, right? Like I'm thinking of, I would assume one of the construction companies you are still working with, maybe one that I'm familiar with from back in the day where we worked kind of in tandem with. They do a lot out in the field. They do a lot getting dirty, getting muddy, like clearing the land, putting a bunch of nails in, and, all kinds of stuff, pouring the foundation, or at least overseeing those projects. And they make really awesome stuff, like beautiful, very tailored, could some of their plans be somewhat cookie cutter? Okay, sure. But the final finished product looks amazing. Same with the demolition world, is you have this decrepit, ugly thing that needs to be taken down, and it's huge. It's 70,000 square feet. It's 150,000 square feet, what have you. And now something beautiful can go in its place because it was attracting vagrants. It was, not a safe place for people to be, although the teenagers always want to go do a little cookout there, something like that. And then, the demolition companies and everyone involved in that process get to really reinvigorate the skyline, like we talked about in Atlanta earlier, about all of your awesome work covering cities as well as businesses. They get to be like the architects of skylines. And yes, they're kind of tearing down to build anew, but it's actually really interesting, cool, unique work that the common person just doesn't maybe know or appreciate as much as they could if they were able to see some of those behind the scenes like you guys are capable of producing for your clients. So do you have any other last little bits before we break off and finish up the episode? Of course, we need to know how to get in touch with Jonathan's team, website, phone number, but we can do that in just a minute. Is there anything else you want to cap off before we finish the episode?
I don't think so. I just appreciate you having me on, and it's good to catch up, and I'm excited to share just how the value of video, the value of drones and branding, design, all these things complement every industry, every type of work that you do. I think it's really cool, the space that you're in with demolition. And like you said, a lot of these, whether it's construction or demolition, people don't necessarily know all the hard work, all the detail that goes into what it takes to build something or destroy something. So much planning. There's so much technical prowess and problems that are always coming up that need to be solved. And in today's world, especially, being able to tell a story goes a really long way in building your brand. And ultimately, you want that brand to be as strong as it possibly can be.
Yeah, you have a vision of it, and to get that vision out to the world, rather than for you just say, oh, we work with this one and this one. All right, great. Yeah, but like, you can't paint the picture in my mind very well by saying like, you should go with us because of course you'd go with us because someone happened to tell you our name. There's other people that people will go with because they can see the vision behind the scenes. the picture is actually painted, and that's where you guys are so valuable. So yeah, Jonathan, how can we let people know to get in touch with you and your team?
Sure. So my business is called Flight Path Digital. Website is theflightpathdigital.com. You can reach out to me, Jonathan B at theflightpathdigital.com. Phone number 678-269-7653. And we really try to, no matter the client or the industry, create tailored solutions, and whether it's branding, video, etc. Get to know their industry, their company culture, their audience, their pain points, what they're trying to accomplish, and create tailored solutions, and be more than a service provider, but be a partner in their growth and their development, and try to create as many win-win scenarios and grow together as partners.
Awesome. Love it. Well, cool, Jonathan. Thank you for being on the podcast, and thank you guys for listening to another episode. Make sure to review and subscribe. We really, really appreciate it. Share with your buddies, your dudes or your divas in the demolition space, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thanks again.
Thanks.
That's a wrap for this episode of Demolition Success Secrets. Stay tuned and subscribe for more explosive insights from our upcoming episodes. Until then, continue to blow up your demolition business and make the competition rubble in your path.